The repair estimate was $1,200, and the household had no warning that felt useful. The car still started that morning. The budget still covered rent, food, utilities, and monthly bills. Then one irregular cost arrived, and the careful plan broke. Nothing about the household's discipline had changed. The problem was that the budget had only one layer built for bills that appeared every month. A monthly budget can look accurate and still leave a family exposed. Insurance premiums may arrive once or twice a year. School costs can gather around one season. Holiday spending returns on a calendar, even when the date feels far away. Car maintenance and repairs do not follow a neat schedule. These expenses are not always emergencies, but they can create the same pressure when no money has been set aside. The first question is not, how can this bill be paid today? It is, was this cost truly unknown? A broken part may be unexpected. The need to keep a car running is often predictable. An annual insurance premium is not a surprise if the due date is on the policy. That distinction matters because predictable irregular bills need preparation, while true emergencies need protection. A sinking fund is money saved gradually for a known future expense. The name sounds dramatic, but the method is simple. You choose a goal, estimate the amount, count the months until payment, and save a small share during each month. When the bill arrives, the money is already waiting. The large cost has not vanished. It has been divided into steps small enough to fit inside ordinary life. For the $1,200 car repair, the household could begin with the amount it expects to need and the time available before the payment. If 12 months remain, the starting target is $100 each month. If only 6 months remain, the monthly target is $200. The math does not guarantee the final price, but it exposes the gap early while there is still time to respond. That calculation changes the emotional shape of the bill. Instead of a sudden demand for $1,200, the repair becomes a monthly responsibility with a visible target. The budget gains a second layer. Regular bills keep the household operating now. Sinking funds prepare for costs that arrive less often. And the plan becomes less dependent on a perfect month because it expects real life to interrupt the calendar. The savings should have names. A car repair fund is different from an insurance fund. School costs deserve their own savings bucket, and holiday spending should not quietly drain money meant for premiums. Separate savings buckets make the purpose of each dollar clear. They also reveal when the total plan is too large, because every goal must compete honestly for the money available each month. A checking account buffer serves a different role. It helps prevent small timing problems, such as a payment leaving before a paycheck arrives, but a buffer can disappear quickly when several expenses meet at once. It is not a complete plan for annual premiums, school costs, or a major repair. Keeping every dollar in one checking balance may feel simple, yet the balance can hide what has already been promised. An emergency fund has a different job again. It is reserved for serious, uncertain events such as a sudden loss of income or a major need that cannot be planned from the available information. A sinking fund is for a cost you can identify in advance, even if the exact amount or date is not perfect. Using the emergency fund for every known annual bill weakens the protection meant for the unknown. A credit card can place a payment within reach, but it does not create savings. It moves the cost into the future, often with interest. The annual percentage rate, or APR, is the yearly cost of borrowing shown as a rate. If a card carries a balance, the repair may continue costing money after the car is back on the road. A sinking fund changes the timing before the bill arrives, not after. The household now has three questions for every irregular expense. What is the cost likely to be? When will it be due? Is it predictable, uncertain, or both? Those answers guide the location of the money. Predictable costs belong in sinking funds. Uncertain shocks call for an emergency fund. Small cash timing issues may call for a checking buffer. Borrowing becomes a backup, not the first line of defense. The hardest part is often estimating the annual amount. Look back at the bills already received, the policy renewal dates, the school calendar, and the car's known needs. Add the costs that return even when they do not appear each month. Then divide the annual estimate by 12 or by the number of months left before payment. The result is a starting goal, not a permanent command. Prices can change. Insurance premiums may rise. A school activity may cost more than expected. A repair estimate can move after the mechanic finds another damaged part. The fund must be reviewed when the facts change. If the goal increases, the monthly saving may need to increase too. If that is impossible, the household can extend the timeline, reduce another target, or prepare for a smaller gap. The review should happen before the crisis, not during it. A short monthly check can compare the current balance with the amount that should have been saved by then. It can also confirm the next due date and test whether the estimate still makes sense. This is not a demand for perfect forecasting. It is a way to discover a problem while choices remain available. One common mistake is saving too little because the full bill feels distant. A small deposit can create the feeling of progress while leaving a large gap at the deadline. Another mistake is treating the first estimate as fact forever. The fund needs a clear target and occasional correction. Honest numbers may feel uncomfortable, but they are safer than a calm budget built on an amount that was never enough. A second mistake is borrowing from one bucket without recording the decision. Money set aside for insurance can quietly pay for a holiday. The account still shows a balance, but the insurance fund is now carrying a hidden shortage. Naming each bucket makes that trade visible. If one goal must wait, the household can choose that openly rather than discovering the sacrifice when the bill is due. A third mistake is calling every surprise an emergency. The word can become a shortcut that hides a missing plan. A car repair may be urgent, but if vehicle costs were foreseeable, a car sinking fund is the better preparation. The emergency fund remains available for events that cannot be assigned a reliable date or amount. Clear labels protect both kinds of savings from being used for the wrong reason. The plan also has to fit the household's cash flow. Saving $100 a month may be reasonable in one budget and impossible in another. The answer is not to pretend the target is affordable. Start with the real amount available, identify the shortfall, and decide what changes are possible. A smaller, honest contribution can reveal the need to adjust timing or spending before the deadline. When money is tight, priorities need order. Housing, food, utilities, and essential transportation come before optional goals. Within irregular costs, protect the bills that carry the greatest consequence if unpaid. That might include insurance premiums or essential school costs. The order will differ by household. What matters is that the choice is made before pressure turns every expense into a last minute emergency. The $1,200 repair also shows why timing matters. If the household starts saving when the mechanic hands over the estimate, the full amount may be due before the fund is ready. The remaining gap must then come from another source. Starting earlier does not make the repair cheaper, but it gives the household more months, more options, and a clearer view of the cost. A sinking fund is not an investment account. Investments are designed for money that can remain committed while its value rises and falls. A near term repair or insurance payment needs stability and access, not market risk. Foundational investing principles still matter for long term goals, including diversification, which means spreading investments across different holdings rather than depending on one. But money needed soon should not be exposed to avoidable price swings. The same boundary helps with debt management. Paying down high cost debt can compete with building a sinking fund, yet ignoring predictable bills can force new borrowing later. The household may need a measured plan, keep essential protections in place, save for near term obligations, and direct additional money toward expensive debt when possible. The goal is not a perfect sequence. It is fewer forced decisions under pressure. As the buckets grow, the household gains information. A car fund that repeatedly falls short may show that the repair estimate is too low or that the vehicle is becoming too costly to maintain. Rising premiums may reveal the effect of inflation, which is the broad increase in prices that reduces what the same amount of money can buy. The budget becomes a record of reality, not a wish about it. That record can also improve credit decisions. A credit score reflects patterns in borrowing and repayment, not whether a household has prepared for every bill. Paying on time matters, and avoiding unnecessary card balances can limit interest costs. A sinking fund does not directly repair a credit score. It can, however, reduce the chance that a predictable bill pushes the household into late payments or expensive borrowing. The system becomes easier when deposits are automatic and timed with income. Each payday can send a planned amount toward the named buckets. Automation does not solve an impossible target, so the amounts still need review. But it removes one fragile step from the process, remembering to save after the month has already consumed the money. The fund grows quietly because preparation happens before urgency arrives. There will still be months when the plan fails. A job change, a medical cost, or a larger repair can force a reset in the numbers. The answer is not shame. Recheck the due dates, protect the most important obligations, and rebuild the buckets in order. The purpose of a sinking fund is not to prove that life can be controlled, it is to make the next decision less desperate. The household that once faced a $1,200 repair with no clear path now has a method. Predictable costs are named, annual amounts are divided across the months available, savings buckets keep one goal from hiding another, the checking buffer handles timing, the emergency fund protects against the truly uncertain, and the credit card remains a tool with a cost, not a plan disguised as relief. A good budget does not claim that every month costs the same, it shows where the uneven costs are waiting. That is the deeper value of sinking funds. They turn distant bills into present choices, replace vague worry with visible targets, and give households room to act before the deadline closes in. The repair may still be expensive. The insurance premium may still rise, but the surprise no longer has to control the outcome.